Well, good evening. Welcome to Glendale City Council meeting of January 28th. That's the end of January already, 2020. This meeting is called to order. I'm not going to call roll call. If you could take note, all members are present. Our next two items on our agenda are the invocation and our Pledge of Allegiance. The invocation is going to be delivered by Mr. Ron Gutierrez with Harvard Church tonight. Gentlemen, if you would please, if everyone please stand. Gentlemen, if you'd remove your hats if it's appropriate. And then please remain standing at the end for our Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Gutierrez.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and attendees. Please join me in bowing our heads in reverence for the invocation. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you this evening. We thank you and we praise you for another day that you have granted to us. We thank you for your love, your mercy, your grace. Lord, we thank you for these servants that have chosen to serve this community, the city of Glendale, Lord. I ask and lift them up before you and ask for your blessing upon them, their families, for everyone that is in this room. Lord, I lift up our police officers, Lord, that go out and risk their lives. I pray for their protection. Lord, I pray for our fire department, Lord, for all those that volunteer, for our educators in our school systems, for our community, for the residents, Lord. Father, we come to you this evening and ask that you would rule and guide in this meeting, Lord. I pray that you would grant wisdom to the council members, Lord, in leading this city of Glendale, Lord. Give them wisdom, Lord, in every decision that is going to be presented on this agenda, that, Lord, understanding the impact that it will have on the residents, Lord. Father, we turn to you and we just thank you for this opportunity to serve. And we ask that you would be glorified. And Lord, that you would prosper and bless this great city, the city of Glendale. We ask all of this in your precious name, the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Councilmember Hugh, would you lead us in the pledge?
Thank you, Mayor. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, next is the approval of our minutes. The agenda is the consideration of the minutes from the January 14, 2020 voting meeting. Council members, do you have any corrections or additions to those minutes? Seeing none, can I get a motion, please?
Yes, Mayor, I move we approve the minutes as submitted.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Hugh, a second from Councilmember Tomachop to approve the minutes. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please signify by saying nay. Appears the ayes have it, do have it, that motion carries. Moving on to boards and commissions and other bodies. For those who are nominated tonight in the audience, if you would please wait to come forward until the councilmember clerk calls you up, and that will be after we vote. Councilmember Clark, have you any nominations?
I do indeed, Mayor. I move to make the following appointment to the Arts Commission, Darrell Barber, to a term expiring 1/31/2022. Bill Icost to the Aviation Advisory Commission, to a term expiring 1/31/2022. Kyle Hochlag to the Board of Adjustment for a term expiring on 1/31/2022. Ryan Westlink to the Citizens Bond Election Committee for a term expiring 9/30/2020. John Pickett to the Citizens Transportation Oversight Commission for a term expiring 1/31/2022, and the two following appointments to the Human Relations Commission. Nellie Andrade to a term expiring 1/31/2022, and James Smith to a term expiring 1/31/2022. That concludes the recommendations.
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Clark. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Second from Councilmember Hugh to approve these citizens to boards, commissions, and other bodies as read by Councilmember Clark. All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, vote nay. Appears the ayes have it, do have it. The motion carries. Councilmember Clark, if you'll wait till I get up to the podium.
Yes, sir, I will. Okay, Daryl Barber. Bill Icost. Kyle Hoschlag. Ryan Westlink. John Pickett. Nellie Andrade. And last but certainly not least, James Smith.
Had to get that out of the way first. Okay, so if all of you would hold your right hand up and repeat after me. When I say I, then state your name and then just repeat after me, okay? So I. State your name. Do solemnly swear. That I will support the Constitution of the United States. And the Constitution and the laws of the state of Arizona. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. And defend them against all enemies. Foreign and domestic. And that I will faithfully. And impartially discharge. The duties of my office. According to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations. Come on up here, we'll get fit with everybody. Squeeze on in. We got room over there.
Everybody take your medicine. Don't get light.
There you go.
Thank you.
Very good. Very good. Congratulations. 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 Okay, we'll move on to our consent agenda and consent resolutions, item 3 through 11 that's on tonight's agenda. Now, the consent agenda and consent resolutions are items on the consent agenda are routine nature. They've been previously studied by this council at a workshop session, or they are intended to be acted upon in one motion by this council. Consent agenda items are included in the agenda that's made available to you, the public, in advance of these meetings. They're also available at that small table at the back of the room. Ms. Bauer, can you please read the consent resolutions by number and title? And before we actually vote on this, Vice Mayor Melner wanted to address one of the items. Go ahead. You're over here.
Resolution number R20-06, a resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, approving the issuance by the Industrial Development Authority of the City of Glendale, Arizona, of its revenue refunding bonds, Midwestern University Series 2020, in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $63 million. That concludes the consent resolutions.
Vice Mayor Melner.
Yes, I just wanted to draw attention to item number 8. I believe it's one of our city council goals to support and strengthen our local Glendale businesses. And item 8 is, I think, a perfect example of where staff has recognized that goal. And we have a fleet of over 1,300 vehicles. And by supporting local businesses, this is with Sands dealership, we are not only providing sales tax to ourselves, but we are also supporting our local businesses. And I would like to see staff continue to look, as they look at contracts, to look at helping our local Glendale City businesses in this effort. And also on item 11, just want to recognize Midwestern, their leadership here today. Thanks for being a great part of the city.
Okay, council members, are there any items that you'd like to hear separately? Seeing none, we'll now proceed with action item which remain, well, we don't have anything remaining, and then we'll come back. Let's just do this. Is there a motion to approve the action items on the consent agenda?
Mayor,
Mr. Turner,
I move that we approve consent agenda items 3 through 10 and consent resolution 11.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Turner, a second from Councilmember Clark to approve recommended action items. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, please vote aye. Aye. Any opposed, please vote nay. Appears the ayes have it, do have it, that motion carries. So moving on to bids and contracts. Item 12.
Authorization to enter into a construction agreement with AZA Contracting, Inc. for water line valve and fire hydrant removal and replacement throughout the city.
I have no speaker cards on this. Any questions from the council? None? Can I get a motion for item 12?
Yes, Mayor, I move we authorize the construction agreement with AZA Contracting, Inc.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Tomachoff, second from Councilmember Aldama to approve the recommended action. Any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Councilmember Aldama, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Hugh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Milner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. The motion carries unanimous. We're now moving on to public hearing and land development actions, which is item 13. Ms. Bauer.
Resolution number R 20-07, a resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, amending the general plan map of the City of Glendale, Arizona by approving General Plan Amendment GPA 19-06 for property located at the northwest corner of 91st Avenue and Zanjero Avenue. Ordinance number O 20-06, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, rezoning property located at the northwest corner of 91st Avenue and Zanjero Boulevard from PAD Planned Area Development to PAD for a development plan entitled Mara Westgate Sparrow Partners, amending the zoning map, providing for an effective date, and directing the city clerk to record a certified copy of the ordinance.
Mayor, members of the council, here to provide staff report on this item is Tabitha Perry, our Special Projects Executive Officer.
Thank you, Mr. Phelps. Good evening, Mayor and Council. The two items before you is for a vacant 10-acre site located at the northwest corner of 91st Avenue and Zanjero Boulevard. For context, surrounding landmark developments in the area consist of Desert Diamond Casino, Westgate, and Cabela's. The existing land use designation is CCC, Corporate Commerce Center, and the first request, GPA 19-06, is to amend the land use designation on 7 acres to high-density residential 30 dwelling units to the acre, and the remaining 3 acres will remain CCC. The second request, ZON 19-15, is to rezone the entire 10-acre site from PAD, Planned Area Development, to PAD. The existing PAD is titled Zanjero and was approved in 2003. The PAD allows specific land uses based on identified parcels within the document. The proposed PAD allows for similar land uses as the existing PAD, such as office, retail, restaurant, and hotel. The proposal comprises of 3 identified areas for future development. Area 1 is intended for multifamily development. Area 2 is projected for additional multifamily opportunity or office space. Area 3 is projected for office space development. It is worth noting Area 1 only allows for multiple residence dwellings, and Area 2 and 3 would allow for any permitted land uses outlined within the proposed PAD. Area 3 Area 1 has received design review approval contingent upon approval of the general plan amendment and the rezoning request. The approval allows for development of a gated 189-unit, 4-story, multifamily development community designed for active adults aged 55 years or older. The exhibit before you is a site plan of how the multifamily will be designed. Along 91st Avenue, you have right-in, right-out access, and along Zanjero Avenue, there's an existing full access driveway. Before you now, there are exhibits that show illustration of how the multifamily will be developed. Key components of the requests. The general plan request is consistent with the rezoning request, and it does meet several of the goals and policies outlined in the Vision Glendale 2040 general plan. The rezoning request is similar to existing zoning. Also, there are differences within the two PADs. As an example of the differences, the existing PAD allows for manufacturing or assembly of finished products and golf course as permitted land uses, whereas the proposed PAD does not. The rezoning request is compatible with surrounding zoning districts and land uses in the area. The requests will allow for additional pedestrian activity in the immediate area, and appropriate departments have reviewed and recommended approval with conditions. The applicant completed the citizen participation process. The applicant nor staff has received any opposition to date. All legal requirements and obligations were met for tonight's hearing. The Peoria Unified School District verified adequate school facility for the zoning request. The Planning Commission voted a recommendation of approval for both cases on January the 16th. The recommendation before council this evening is to approve GPA 19-06 as written, and to approve ZON 19-15 with two stipulations as outlined within the report. Those two stipulations, if I may paraphrase, is that development shall be in substantial conformance with the PAD, and that development shall design and construct a right turn deceleration lane for the access point off of Zanjero Boulevard. With that, council, that concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have, as well as the applicant is here to answer any questions if needed.
I think all of us got a lot of questions to get you talking. Questions from the council? Seeing none. Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Public hearing is now open on item 13, resolution number R20-07, ordinance number 020-06. I have no speaker cards. So anyone in the audience needing to speak? Seeing no one? Public hearing is now closed. Can I get a motion on resolution number R20-07?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. I move that we pass and adopt resolution number R20-07, new series.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Clark, a second from Councilmember Turner to approve the recommended action. Any discussion on this motion? Seeing none, roll call vote. Councilmember Aldama, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Hugh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachop, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Milner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries unanimous. Could I get a motion on ordinance number 020-06?
Yes, Mayor. I move that we pass and adopt ordinance number 020-06, new series.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Clark, a second from Councilmember Tomachop to approve the recommended action. Any discussion on this motion?
Yes, Mayor.
Councilmember Clark.
I have developed over the years the reputation of being the queen of no apartments, but I believe that they are appropriate in the Westgate area and the Zanjero area. We need to build a massive residence to support those two areas if we want them to remain viable and successful. So I waive tonight my title and look forward to this project. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Aldama, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Hugh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Milner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries unanimous. Can we get, item 14 was removed from agenda, so if we can move on to item 15, ordinance number 020-08.
An ordinance of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, extending and increasing the corporate limits of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, State of Arizona, pursuant to the provisions of Title IX, Chapter 4, Section 9-471, Arizona Revised Statutes, and its amendments by annexing certain territory consisting of approximately 97 acres at the southwest corner of Glendale Avenue and the Loop 303, to be known as Annexation Area Number 212, amending the zoning map, providing for an effective date, and directing the city clerk to record a certified copy of the ordinance.
Mayor, members of the council, here to provide staff report is Interim Development Services Director Lisa Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Phelps. Thank you, Mayor and members of the council. So item number 15 is a request for the Barclay annexation AN 212. Apologize, this doesn't. Okay, there we go. So this is a request by the Barclay Group to annex approximately 97 acres of land located at the southwest corner of Glendale Avenue and Loop 303. Just for a little background on this, on August 27th of 2019, the City Council approved a PADA, which is a pre-annexation development agreement. On November 12th of 2019, the council held a workshop where we talked a little bit about the plans for this land. And then on January 14th, 2 weeks ago, you saw the blank petitions that were brought forward to you as required by state statute. Those petitions are now signed, and so that brings us here today. The property is the hatched area directly in the middle, shown at the southwest corner of Glendale Avenue and the Loop 303. And there we have it again. This is a graphic that illustrates what the architecture of the buildings is intended to look like. Again, the property is 97 acres in size. This annexation is somewhat unique in the fact that they went through a rezoning process in the county. Much of what we see, the rezoning process happens after annexation into the city. This property has already been rezoned in the county. They have commercial and industrial zoning, and that was part of the PADA that was approved by this body last year, August 27th. The southern portion of the property is designated Loop-compatible land use on the City of Glendale plan, and this proposal meets that. The northern portion is designated, as regional mixed use. As with many of these properties along here, they are within noise contours 65 LDN and 70 LDN, which is inappropriate for residential development. Again, this graphic shows the noise contours. You were briefed on this also at your workshop, that there's a consultant that's hired by the city whenever we consider annexations to determine whether it's in the city's best interest to bring this property in. It was determined that it was a net positive, which gave staff the direction to proceed on with this process. So this is in compliance with state law. This would complete the annexation process in 30 days. It would be actually in the city. There's a 30-day waiting period. There will be no additional zoning actions associated with this because, as I said at the beginning, the zoning was already granted in the county. It does include industrial, commercial, and they are authorized for billboards at this location, 3 billboards. And that completes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Council, any questions? Seeing none. Public hearing is now open for approval of item number 15, ordinance 020-8. I have no speaker cards on this. Anyone in the audience needing to speak? Seeing no one, public hearing is now closed. Can I get a motion for item 15, ordinance 020-08?
Mayor,
Mr. Aldama.
motion to approve item number 15, ordinance number 020-08.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Aldama, second Councilmember Tomachoff, to discuss to approve recommended action. Is there any discussion on this motion? Seeing none, roll call vote. Councilmember Aldama, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Hugh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries unanimous. Ms. Bauer, would you introduce item 16, ordinance number 020-09?
An ordinance of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, extending and increasing the corporate limits of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, State of Arizona, pursuant to the provisions of Title IX, Chapter 4, Section 9-471, Arizona Revised Statutes, and its amendments by annexing certain territory consisting of approximately 76 acres at the northeast corner of Cerebel Avenue and Maryland Avenue to be known as Annexation Area Number 208, amending the zoning map, providing for an effective date, and directing the city clerk to record a certified copy of the ordinance.
Mayor, members of the council, here to provide staff report is Lisa Collins, Interim Development Services Director.
Thank you, Mr. Phelps, Mr. Mayor, and members of the council. Item number 16 is West 303 Crossing, annexation AN 208. This is a request by Hunter Engineering to annex approximately 76 acres located at the northeast corner of Cerebel Avenue and Maryland Avenue alignment. For a little bit of background, and this is where it's showing on the graphic, it's the dark hatched area. For a little bit of background, on November 12th of 2019, the council saw this in a workshop, and on January 14th, 2 weeks ago, blank petitions were brought to a public hearing as required by state law. Those petitions have now been signed, which allows us to be here this evening. Again, here's going to be several graphics, again, telling you the property is 76 acres in size. Now, following the annexation, the applicant does seek to rezone the property to allow the industrial and warehouse development. This would be a PAD, and it has been through the Planning Commission contingent upon your approval of an annexation. The Planning Commission did approve this unanimously. The property is designated Loop-compatible land use on the City of Glendale General Plan, and again, the property is located within noise contours that are 70 and 75 that are not suitable for residential development. Once again, a consultant for the city's economic development does provide an economic analysis to determine if it's in the best interest of the city to bring the land into the city. It was determined that it was, and at the workshop, we were then given direction to move forward. So in compliance with state law, tonight's action is to consider adoption of the annexation. After 30 days, it would become land that is in the city. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. We will have a case, the last case, 18, will discuss the zoning action.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. Okay, thank you, Ms. Collins. Questions? Seeing none, public hearing is now open for approval of item 16, ordinance 020-09. I have no speaker cards on this item either. Anyone in the audience needing to speak on this item? Seeing none. Public hearing is now closed. Can I get a motion for item 16, ordinance 020-09?
Yes, Mayor. I move we approve ordinance 20-09.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Hugh, a second from Councilmember Tom Schaaf to approve the recommended action. Any discussion on this motion? Hearing none. Councilmember Eldom, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Hugh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Thomas Schaaf, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries unanimous. Ms. Bauer, would you introduce item 17, ordinance 020-10? Item 17.
An ordinance of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, extending and increasing the corporate limits of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, State of Arizona, pursuant to the provisions of Title IX, Chapter 4, Section 9-471, Arizona Revised Statutes, and its amendments by annexing certain territory consisting of approximately 6 acres at the northwest corner of Dysart Road and the Northern Parkway to be known as Annexation Area Number 209, amending the zoning map, providing for an effective date, and directing the city clerk to record a certified copy of the ordinance.
Mayor, members of the council, here to provide staff report is Lisa Collins, Interim Development Services Director.
Thank you, Mr. Phelps. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. This is item number 17, the Copper Wing Annexation AN 209. And this is a request by Gamage and Burnham to annex approximately 6.3 acres located at the northwest corner of Dysart Road and Northern Parkway. For a little bit of background, this did come to you at a workshop on November 26, 2019, where we discussed this proposal. This proposal is one that will not have an accompanying zoning case. It is intended to be de-annexed once the 30-day wait period is over and move into the city of El Mirage to combine with the Copper Wing development that's proposed there. On January 14th, 2 weeks ago, we did see the blank petitions on this and held a public hearing. Those petitions have been signed, and which allows us to be back here today. Again, here's the property. It's a little remnant piece, a little over 6 acres in the dark hatched area in the middle of your screen. Once again, with an aerial. Again, the property is approximately 6.3 acres in size following the annexation. Like I said earlier, the applicant seeks to de-annex the property, an adjoining property now that's now in the city of Glendale for development in the city of El Mirage. We'll also shift around our annexation line, so that we we remain to have a constant line around the city. I apologize. The property is designated as LUT-compatible land use of the city of Glendale, and as we understand it, the development meets that. However, this is never going to come through for a zoning case, so we don't have any jurisdiction over what it will become once it's in El Mirage. The property is, once again, located within 75 LDN noise contours that is not appropriate for residential development. The applicant prepared an annexation analysis of the property as required by the city's annexation policy. We did not have our consultants do that because it wasn't going to remain in our city. And this is, again, is in compliance with state law, and tonight's action is to consider adoption of the annexation ordinance. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the council? Seeing none. Public hearing is now open. Item 17, ordinance 020-10. I have no speaker cards on this item either. Anyone in the audience needing to speak? Seeing none, public hearing is now closed. Can I get a motion on item 17?
Yes.
Ordinance 020-10. Councilmember Tom Schaaf.
Yes, Mayor, I move we adopt ordinance number 020-10.
Second.
I have a motion, Councilmember Tom Schaaf, second Councilmember Eldama to approve the recommended action. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Councilmember Eldama, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Hugh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Thomas Schaaf, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries unanimous. Ms. Bauer, would you introduce item 18, ordinance 020-11?
An ordinance of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, rezoning property located at the northeast corner of Saraval Avenue and Maryland Avenue from A1 Agricultural to PAD Planned Area Development for development plan entitled West 303 Crossing, amending the zoning map, providing for an effective date, and directing the city clerk to record a certified copy of the ordinance.
Mayor, members of the council, once again, here is Lisa Collins, our Interim Development Services Director, provides staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Phelps. Thank you, Mayor and members of the council. Item 18 is ZON 19-14 West 303 Crossing PAD, which is associated with the item number 16 that you heard for the annexation. This property is shown on the general plan and located between Ocotillo and Maryland alignments and is designated part of the Luke-compatible land use area. Luke has reviewed this and has no objection to this case. Again, you did see a recent Logistics Park 303 approval just to the west of this, so this case is very similar to that. The rezoning request is 70 acres from RU 43 to PAD. Once again, there is the location of the development, subject property. Proposed land uses are industrial manufacturing, assembly, wholesale, warehousing, distribution, e-commerce, office, and other M1 uses for a total of 1.25 million square feet. The physical site development, as you know, in a PAD, and they were brought in under the M1 zoning and needed to rezone to a PAD, and so they are requesting additional building height, which is consistent with other PADs that have been approved in the area, a little more floor area ratio. The parking has been adjusted to be consistent with other warehouse uses, and the signage is also consistent with other PADs that have been approved at 20 feet. Once again, you see a 1.25 million square foot footprint, and it may be developed as one building, as you see there, or it may be two separate buildings, depending upon the user. Conceptual elevations that have been provided to us. Citizen participation, there was notice to adjacent property owners, and the applicant has their citizen participation plan final report included. There was some discussion with adjacent neighbors, and there was some discussion of the setbacks that have been provided, landscaping, distances. There was the hearing notices published, and like I said, this did go to the Planning Commission. There was no public at the commission, and the commission did approve it unanimously. Once again, on December 19th, the Planning Commission did recommend unanimously for approval. The City Council did hold a public hearing on the blank petition, once again, that's related to item number 16. This was reviewed by the applicable city departments, as we do with all PADs, and there is support. The proposal is consistent with the general plan and the anticipated growth along the Loop 303. And the goal there is to support future growth and employment opportunities. Once again, this also is compatible with other nearby PADs. So the approval of this zoning case did have some stipulations. They are required to dedicate additional right-of-way along North Saraville Avenue, dedicate on North Alsop Avenue. That will be in the county, so they'll be in conformance with the county regulations. Half-street improvements are required on North Saraville Avenue adjacent to this site. West Ocotillo will remain a private access drive, so that their property has access. It's mostly for truck access in their area. And then all development is going to be required to be in conformance with the PAD, and we'll ensure that all that happens when this goes through the Development Review Board, which is required for the development of this site. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Questions from the council?
Mayor?
Go ahead.
Thank you. Ms. Collins, so this was kind of a zoning case and an annexation case and a zoning case working its way through the process at the same time.
Mr. Mayor, Councilman Turner, yes, oftentimes the goal of development in this area is to, when the annexation is approved, to have the zoning case go right along with that. And in order to make that happen, they need to, because it is a rezoning of the property, they're bringing this in from the county under zoning that is not appropriate for the development they want. So they needed to process a PAD, a planned area development. They went to the Planning Commission prior to this with the caveat that if the annexation was not approved, then the zoning case wouldn't be able to go forward to you tonight. So yes, they did things in preparation for approval of the annexation and the zoning.
Okay, thank you. So the notification is different for an annexation and for a zoning case. For an annexation, my understanding is we only notify the property owners of property that's actually coming into the city. But for a zoning case, we notify 300 feet or more of the residents that surround it. And then, of course, the property is posted. And in this case, so my question is, in this case, was it posted for both the annexation and the zoning? And was it noticed through the mail for both the annexation, well, for the zoning to the surrounding property owners?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Councilman Turner. Yes, as you stated, for annexations, that really only involves the property owners, but because this was being coupled, they did follow all of the requirements for a planned area development zoning, which is a zoning requirement, pardon me, for rezoning to any classification. So they noticed in the newspaper, they posted the site, they sent out notices, and actually did communicate with citizens that had questions. So they fulfilled all of the zoning processes.
Mayor and Ms. Collins, thank you. So I'm concerned because 2 weeks ago at our meeting, which I found to be confusing, and just in my candid observation, I think others found to be confusing, we did have people here in the audience who were concerned about, in essence, the zoning of it, but they were here on the night in which the annexation, the blank application, was occurring. And as I recall, there were statements made that the rezoning wouldn't occur for maybe as much as a year from 2 weeks ago. And here it is 2 weeks later, we're giving the property its ultimate zoning, so far as we know, and yet there's nobody that I see in the audience here to speak to it. So I'm concerned as to whether or not they were adequately informed, and then again, secondly, whether or not they were misinformed, and if that perhaps has squelched their participation.
Mr. Mayor, Councilman Turner, thank you for that question. I believe the participation at the hearing 2 weeks ago was related to the Cotton properties, which was a case where the annexation was final. We had multiple cases that night. It was very confusing, but the one property that did receive a final adoption was the Cotton properties, and that is the one that does not have their zoning yet. They still have county zoning. They were annexed in under agricultural zoning. They're now going to go through the Planning Commission and to the City Council with their PAD request, and all of those people, which I've received numerous emails, will be notified of those hearing dates.
Okay. Mayor, Ms. Collins, so I agree with you that some of the people here 2 weeks ago were for that annexation and had a specific set of concerns, but I also recall that a couple of the women who spoke that had their children with them were speaking about living across the street from the dairy, and I believe the dairy or former dairy is on this site, and they were talking about the traffic and police, who's going to be responsible for police and fire and those kinds of issues that are very much annexation-related issues. So I do believe that there were people that night that were concerned about this, and I mean, I can't make them come here tonight and speak, but I do remain concerned that as to whether or not they were, because comments were also made that night in the confusion as to whether or not, people hadn't heard about it, why they first heard about it, they, read a story in the paper, that sort of thing. So I just, I want to share with you and management and with the rest of the council that I remain concerned about the notification on this rezoning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Public hearing is now open for approval of item 18, ordinance number 020-11. I have no speaker cards on this. Anyone in the audience needing to speak? Seeing none. Public hearing is now closed. Can I get a motion for item 18, ordinance 020-11?
Mayor,
Mr. Aldama.
motion to approve item 18, ordinance number 020-11.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Aldama, second from Councilmember Hugh to approve recommended action. Any discussion on this motion? Hearing none. Councilmember Aldama, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Hugh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
I'd like to explain my vote.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. I will not repeat everything I just said, but understand that those concerns of mine are reflected in my vote, and I vote nay.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion does carry. Moving on to ordinances. Ms. Bauer, would you introduce item 19, ordinance 020-12?
An ordinance of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing the abandonment of a right-of-way and a portion of a roadway easement at 6208 North 67th Avenue and directing the city clerk to record a certified copy of the ordinance.
Mayor, members of the council, here to provide staff report is Jamie Chapin, Land Development Engineer.
Thank you, Mr. Phelps. Good evening, Mayor and council members. This is a request for City Council to waive reading beyond the title and adopt an ordinance abandoning public right-of-way at the West Discovery Drive alignment between 67th Avenue and 69th Avenue and a portion of a roadway easement on 67th Avenue adjacent to 6208 North 67th Avenue. Mayor and council members, both of these abandonments are in support of the proposed Glendale 10 residential subdivision. Additionally, there are no existing roadway improvements in either area. The 10-foot easement is adjacent to a 55-foot right-of-way on 67th Avenue, and the Transportation Department has determined that no additional roadway improvements are required, so we can abandon the roadway easement. We will be retaining a 10-foot public utility easement over this area for any existing utilities. The 30-foot right-of-way is existing and bisects the site from east to west, and the lotting of the subdivision did not work well with this alignment. So we are proposing the abandonment, and a 50-foot right-of-way will be platted in the West Discovery Road alignment that will support the interior network of the development. So for these reasons, staff supports the abandonments. And that concludes my presentation, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Can I get a motion?
Mayor,
Mr. Turner?
I move we pass and adopt ordinance 020-12 and waive reading beyond the title.
Second.
A motion from Mr. Turner, a second from Councilmember Clark to approve recommended action. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none. Roll call vote. Councilmember Aldama, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Hugh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. The motion carries unanimous. Moving on to resolutions.
Councilmember Turner votes aye as well, Mayor.
Did I not announce you? Councilmember Turner also votes aye. Still unanimous. Okay. Resolutions, item 20 through 22 on tonight's agenda. Ms. Bauer, would you introduce item 20?
Resolution number R 20-08, a resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing and directing the entering into of a development agreement with RBNA LLC.
Mayor, members of the council, here to provide staff report is Economic Development Officer Randy Huggins.
Thank you, Mr. Phelps. Good morning. Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is a request for City Council to waive reading beyond the title and adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a development agreement regarding certain fees between the City of Glendale and Red Bull North America, also known as RBNA or Project Lager House. RB&A plans to construct a 700,000 square foot beverage distribution facility which will support the distribution items produced from the Rao, Ball, and Red Bull production facility that is currently under construction at Reams Road and Peoria Avenue in Glendale. This new beverage distribution facility will create 115 new jobs with health benefits and average wages above $50,000 per year. That is $57 million in annual wages over 10 years, entering and driving the local economy. The location selected is in the northern portion of the Wolf Logistics Industrial Park at the northeast corner of Reams Road and Butler. This development agreement has no direct expense to the city. It would result in the city foregoing $750,000 of plan review, permit, and inspection fees for the issuance of a certificate of occupancy for RB&A's new facility. Total direct revenues to the city are expected to reach approximately $2.8 million over the first 10 years from the development of this $83 million project, of which the one-time construction sales tax is approximately $1.2 million in the first year alone. Additionally, RB&A is building nearly $1 million in roadway and transportation improvements on Reams Road that will be dedicated to the city upon completion. These improvements will significantly enhance the farm grade roads in the area to meet the needs of RB&A's facility as well as transportation in the region. Under state law and City of Glendale code, the city may allow a developer to construct and dedicate capital facilities, in this case transportation infrastructure, and credit the cost against transportation development impact fees. RB&A agrees to construct and dedicate transportation infrastructure in excess of $807,000, which is the transportation DIF fee typical for a project of this size. RB&A further agrees to pay all other development impact fees, including police, fire, parks, and rec, in full. A bond or similar security instrument will be held by the city until the roadway infrastructure has been inspected and accepted to the satisfaction of the city engineer. Staff recommends the proposed fee waiver and transportation development impact fee credit, as they provide the ability to be responsive in a competitive market and supports the creation of new ongoing revenue streams through quality economic development in our community. Mayor and Council, this concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer questions.
Okay. Any questions? Seeing none, I have no speaker cards. Can I get a motion?
Yes, Mayor. Excuse me. I move we pass and adopt resolution number R20-08, new series.
Second.
A motion from Councilmember Clark, a second from Councilmember Hugh to approve recommended action. Any discussion on the motion?
Yes, Mayor.
Ms. Clark?
If you will know, most of the items on tonight's agenda are in my district, and I am very pleased, and I know that the rest of council is very pleased, but it was the Roush, Ball, Red Bull, et cetera, project that was the initial catalyst for much of the development that is now coming to the Loop 303. So I am delighted to see this project and the jobs that it will bring, potential jobs for Glendale residents, as will many of the other projects that follow upon this one. We have labeled the Loop 303 as the new frontier, and I think from the annexations and the projects that you will see coming forward, that is exactly what it means to Glendale. Thank you.
Okay, hearing none other, roll call vote. Councilmember Eldama, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Hugh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachov, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
I'm going to explain my vote. If Red Bull folks are here, and I don't know if you are or not, we're delighted that you folks have chosen Glendale. I think that you're going to find we'll be a great partner for you, and look forward to working with you in the future. And I'm delighted to vote aye, which makes that unanimous. Congratulations. Okay, Ms. Bauer, would you introduce item 21, please?
Resolution number R20-09, a resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing and directing the entering into of a development agreement with JAWS 303 LLC.
Mayor, members of the council, before I introduce Mr. Huggins again, I'm not surprised he got confused on whether this is morning or evening because him and his team have been burning the midnight oil for the last couple of months, and this is reflective in some of the actions here, but Randy and his team have been doing just a yeoman's job to get these items through, and so it is evening, Mr. Huggins, and so you can give your staff report.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Phelps. Good evening, Mayor and Council. All right. This is a request for City Council to waive reading beyond the title and adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a development agreement regarding certain fees between the City of Glendale and JAWS 303 LLC. This property is also known as West 303 Crossing, which is the name of the PAD case and zoning or annexation that you just heard from Lisa Collins. The City of Glendale development team has been working diligently with JAWS 303 executive and design teams to create a development for two 565,000 square foot buildings designed to meet the needs of modern industrial, e-commerce, logistics, and high-tech manufacturers. This project is planned in 2 phases and will be a total of approximately 1.2 million square feet at full build-out. The property is located a half-mile south of Glendale Avenue between Saraval and Alsop. This development will have an immense effect on the surrounding area as it will catalyze the installation of new water, sewer, power, communications, and transportation infrastructure that is currently distant from the site. The infrastructure extensions will help create many very large shovel-ready sites, improving the marketability and viability of future development in the region. This development agreement has no direct expense to the city. It would result in the city foregoing a portion of the permit and plan review fees via a partial permit and plan review fee waiver. This development agreement is a request for the city to waive 30 cents in plan review and permit fees it would otherwise charge for every building square foot constructed within the property for a period of 3 years from the date this agreement is recorded. For the initial phase of this project, a partial fee waiver would be up to $169,500 for the first 565,000 square foot building. An economic analysis was completed to analyze and the economic and revenue impacts a speculative project of this nature would have on the City of Glendale. For phase 1, the direct benefit to the city from the collection of one-time fees, including construction sales tax, development impact fees, and permit and review fees, after the $169,500 partial fee waiver, it's still over $1 million in the first year. Over 10 years, the city is estimated to collect a total of just over $2.2 million. Based on market demand, should the second 565,000 square foot building be reviewed and permitted within the 3-year period, both the partial fee waiver and the benefit to the city would double. Additionally, this project will improve portions of Saraval Road from farm-grade roads to multi-lane industrial roads designed to the City of Glendale standards. These transportation improvements, as well as new utility infrastructure, are being paid for by private developers and will increase the marketability of this property as well as others in the region. All development impact fees will be paid by the developer according to the City Council-approved DIF fee schedule. Staff recommends approval of the proposed partial fee waiver as it provides the ability to be responsive in a competitive market and supports the creation of new ongoing revenue streams through quality economic development. Mayor and Council, this concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer questions.
Thank you, Mr. Huggins. Any questions from the council? Seeing none, can I get a motion on resolution number R20-09, item 21?
Mayor.
Mr. Aldama.
Yep. Motion to approve item number 21, resolution number R20-09.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Aldama, a second from Councilmember Hugh to approve the recommended action. Any discussion on the motion? Again, I had no speaker cards. Roll call vote. Councilmember Aldama, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Hugh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. The motion carries unanimous. Ms. Bauer, would you introduce item 22, resolution R20-10?
A resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing a grant and aid agreement for a revenue sharing grant from the Tohono O'odham Nation on behalf of the Glendale Union High School District for ACT exam fees in the amount of $70,000.
Mayor, members of the council, here provide staff report is Lisette Camacho, Director of Budget and Finance.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. This resolution would authorize the acceptance of a grant and aid agreement for a revenue sharing grant with the Tohono O'odham Nation on behalf of the Glendale Union High School for $70,000 for the ACD exam fees. With that concludes my presentation, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the council? Seeing none, I have no speaker cards. Can I get a motion?
Yes, Mayor. I move we approve Resolution R20-10.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Hughes, second from Councilmember Clark to approve recommended action. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none. Roll call vote. Councilmember Aldama, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Hughes, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries. Moving on to new business. Can we get item R20-11, please?
A resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing and directing the entering into of a development agreement with Beardsley 101 Investments LLC regarding community development fees.
Mayor, members of council, here to provide staff report is our Director of Economic Development, Brian Friedman.
Thank you, Mr. Phelps. Good evening. Here tonight to discuss the opportunity for a development agreement between certain fees between the City of Glendale and Beardsley 101 Investments, LLC. On March 9th, 2017, the City Council approved the sale of city-owned property located near Beardsley Road and the Loop 101 Freeway for the development of a brand new BMW dealership. And in November of 2018, Arrowhead BMW officially opened. On April 23, 2019, City Council approved a rezoning application from Beardsley 101 Investments, LLC for the property immediately north of the Arrowhead BMW dealership. This council action rezoned the subject property to allow new and used automobile, vehicle sales, and associated operations. Visionary Automotive Group recently announced the award of new Jaguar and Land Rover franchises and proposed to construct their newest state-of-the-art facility immediately north of their Arrowhead BMW dealership on approximately 9.2 acres. Additionally, Berkshire Hathaway Automotive Group has announced plans to relocate their existing Volvo dealership to the same site for a total of 3 new automakers set to join Glendale's luxury automotive offerings along our stretch of the Loop 101. This lineup of high-end dealerships will also include a luxury collision, cosmetic repair, and paint center to service the needs of the customer base in the West Valley. The development agreement will result in the city foregoing $500,000 of development fees. This includes the waiving of city plan review, permit, and inspection fees. This waiver does not include development impact fees, all of which will be paid by the developer. The city will also work with the developer to create a customized development schedule, much as we did for the BMW dealership for this project, which we now anticipate will be under construction in early summer of this year. This investment will bring 250 jobs to Glendale, as well as several significant new sources of sales tax revenue. The public benefits anticipated to accrue to the city from this development are substantial relative to the economic incentive proposed for the development. Initial sales tax collections on the construction of the dealerships alone are anticipated to eclipse the proposed incentive. Mayor and Council, this concludes my brief presentation.
Questions? Seeing none. Is there a motion for resolution R20-11, item number 23?
Mayor.
Mr. Turner.
I move we pass and adopt resolution number R20-11 and waive reading beyond the title.
Second.
Motion from Councilmember Turner, second from Councilmember Clark to approve recommended action. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Councilmember Aldama, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Hugh, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Tomachoff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. An exciting aye. This is pretty cool. Motion carries unanimous. A request for a future workshop and executive session. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that we hold a special workshop, a budget workshop on Tuesday, February 4th, 2020 at 9 a.m. in the City Council chambers. I further move that we hold the next regularly scheduled City Council workshop on Tuesday, February 11th, 2020 at 12:30 p.m. in the City Council chambers to be followed by an executive session pursuant to ARS 38-431-03.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from the Vice Mayor, second from Councilmember Clark. All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, vote nay. Appears you guys have it, do have it. That motion carries. Moving on to council comments and suggestions, starting with Councilmember Aldama.
Thank you, Mayor. Just going to read a statement here. On the evening of Saturday, January 25th, 2020, a senseless act of violence occurred in downtown, and as a result, our community now mourns the loss of a longtime downtown Glendale merchant. The suspect has since been apprehended. My deepest sympathies go out to the loved ones of Ray Watkins and all those affected by this incident. There are no justifications for such senseless act against another. But I have faith that our local law enforcement and criminal justice system will ensure the fight for justice. I ask that we unite as a community to celebrate the life of Ray Watkins, a fellow community member, a friend, and a man who was so much to so many. Remember him as a kind, generous, and passionate individual who added to the fabric of Glendale. And please keep his family and friends in your thoughts. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Clark.
Yes, I too was going to speak to that same senseless tragedy, but Councilmember Aldama has conveyed, I think, the thoughts of all of us, and I will simply say that the friends and family of Ray Watkins are in my prayers.
Councilmember Hugh.
Yeah, a couple of comments, Mayor. I want to thank Economic Development and Glendale's winning team for 3 new dealerships coming to Glendale. Glendale is thriving. I think we're the envy of the state of Arizona right now. And also I want to talk about our public safety employees. We have some of the finest in the state. And our police department, we have police officers who have given it their all, but they can't give anymore because they suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. They have our respect and our gratitude. And I hope the media won't feature any more stories on our public safety employees who suffer. It just adds to their stress and anxiety. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Tomchow.
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to welcome Visionary Automotive Group to Glendale. Welcome to Glendale. Welcome Jaguar and Land Rover dealerships, along with a luxury collision center that's well needed in the Northwest Valley, and also Berkshire Hathaway Automotive with the Volvo dealership. We are very thrilled to have you in Glendale, so welcome. Thank you.
Councilmember Turner.
Thank you, Mayor. Just my condolences to the family and friends of Mr. Watkins. It's the tragic thing that happened in our community to a very fine man who was running a good business and making a contribution to the betterment of our whole downtown. We have a lot to be thankful for and rejoiceful of here in Glendale, as Councilmember Hughes said, and we also have several things we need to keep our eye on the ball about, and above all, let's just try to be kind to each other. Thank you.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Along those same lines, I just want to send my condolences to the Ray Watkins family for the loss they are suffering. He was a pillar in our downtown, and he'll be greatly missed.
Okay, and then I'm not going to repeat what everybody else has said. Immediately following this meeting across the street is a small ceremony going on for him, and I do plan on attending that, so I'm hoping that we can get out of here really quick. It started at 6:30. So with that, we're going to move on to citizens' comments. We have one speaker, Mr. Deibler.
Hello, hi, I'm James Deibler. I live in Phoenix, Arizona, in Phoenix County District 5. There is a bad hangout spot called Rimness Hookahs on the northwest corner at 43rd Avenue and Maryland Avenue, across the street from St. Eustace the King Catholic Church and School. The Catholic Church and School has concerns about this place that cause trouble with young people getting into the round crowd by selling drugs or drinking alcohol. There is graffiti on Ramses hookah sign. The city of Glendale needs to review Ramses hookah business license before deciding to shut down this place. There are a lot of people coming to this place that the Catholic Church across the street want this business establishment shut down for good. Please keep following Glendale business owner Ray Watkins in your prayer. He was a nice guy. Thank you for no consideration.
Thank you, James. Okay, there being no further business before this council tonight, I'd like to thank everyone for attending tonight's meeting. With no objection from this council, don't hear any, we're adjourned.